Welcome to Target Training 101. Let's talk about your attentional focus. Your attentional focus we could call your target. In sports and in gym training, we have different targets that we utilize. In sports training, we're generally talking about external focus or external targets. Baseball, you have the bat position, you're watching the ball and trying to make contact with the ball. You're throwing the ball to a very specific target on the field. In basketball, you have targets you're passing to, targets you're shooting at. Also defensively, you're trying to position yourself around other targets, being the other players. Now in the gym, we have more of an attentional focus or a target on internal awareness or internal practice. You're maybe focusing on which muscle you're working. You're trying to activate or deactivate certain muscles. You're trying to stretch a specific muscle. You're focused on that feeling of the contraction or the burning sensation. It's a very internalized, targeted awareness. Now there's a big difference here between sports and gym training. There's a big divide. If we want to get better at our skills on the field or on the court, we want our gym practice to transfer over and be very applicable to the skills required on the field or on the court. Why would we want to practice internal focus or internal attention in the gym if the majority of our skills required on the field or on the court are external targeted focus? What's needed for athleticism is strength, balance, flexibility, coordination. All these things are required for great athleticism. We work on these things in the gym. I'm guessing you do already. However, do you practice strength, flexibility, balance, coordination with an external focus? Do you practice those things while focusing on something visual in the gym? Do you practice those things while moving your body towards or away from a very specific external target? Or do you move your body in a way that you're moving towards a target to physically touch it or physically move away from it? These are ways that we can apply an external focus, a target training solution, right in a gym setting. Now we're going to show you some specific demonstrations on why this is so important for your nervous system and for your body and for becoming more athletic. So the practices you're doing in the gym will carry over much faster on the field, on the court. All right, I'm hanging out with Grayson today to go over the demonstrations for internal versus external focus. I encourage you to experience this at your own at home, either by yourself or with a friend, as long as your body's feeling okay and you're feeling safe to do these. It's incredible when you start to learn more about neurology and you recognize that we can change range of motion really, really quickly, depending on what types of inputs are coming in through your brain. So these are really fun demonstrations and very educational that we can apply to our training, our target training practice. You ready to go, G?
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's do this.
All right, so we're gonna do a range of motion test first. Grace, I want you to stand up nice and tall, take your arms up, and I want you to rotate to your left as far as you can, but before you do, can you focus internally?
Okay. So like on the stretch as I twist?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, feel the stretch. Notice the tension that's increasing in your body as you're trying to rotate as far as you can. And this is probably a little more common to what I see people doing inside the gym. They're doing stretching, they're doing strengthening with an internalized focus, right? They're looking for the muscular tension. All right, how's that feel?
Definitely, there's a stretch.
There's a stretch.
Little bit of stretch pain, maybe even.
Okay.
When I get to as far as I can get.
Mostly left side?
Left side, yep.
Okay. All right, and we got a good idea of how far you're able to go right now at the moment?
I think so.
All right, you warmed up a little bit and got to a baseline? All right, so that is important that if you're doing this test at home, take yourself to a baseline where you're getting to about the same spot every time. Now we can switch to more of an external focus. There's two forms of external focus. One is visual and one is sensory. Let's do the visual first.
Okay.
You're going to use myself as a visual target. So you can start with your arms up, straight ahead again. I'm going to come around here, and I want you to use this zipper on my shirt. I want you to rotate your arms so you're pointing directly at the zipper. And then you can go back to the neutral position to start.
Okay.
All right, let's try this one. Coming over here. Good. So really reminding yourself, focus on using or seeing the visual target, and then encouraging your brain to move towards the target. Giving your brain a purpose, a goal, a reason, a very intentional movement. Good. Now we're really challenging this range of motion here, because I know that we are past his original end range of motion spot. All right, find that visual target, hit the visual target.
I'm not going to get there. Not that one.
That's a big one right there. That's very, very tough. All right, so I could tell you got farther.
Definitely
Got farther.
did, yeah.
Once you got to that spot, like your original baseline, did it feel different?
Yeah, like no tension, which is kind of odd. I didn't feel that same tension until it was, I don't know how many more degrees that was, 15, 20.
Yeah, probably.
So.
All right, very interesting. This is the common result that we see. We generally notice if you switch your attention to an external focus, you improve range of motion in just about every aspect of body movement. The other really cool part is most people recognize a reduction in tension. So you may notice that you don't get further with your rotational test, but the tension internally is a lot less, which means you can move your body more freely. I have found that particular case that most people that want to be athletic, they don't necessarily need to be able to do the splits or need to rotate at 180 degrees. What they need to do is be able to move more freely. And that's what they really want. If you can move more freely, it feels better to move. You agree?
Agreed, definitely.
All right, let's go ahead and switch to a sensory external focus. So let's do a right rotation, Grayson.
Okay.
Stand up nice and tall, take your arms up again, and then let's rotate to the right, again with that internalized focus first. And go ahead, you can do a few of those to kind of get a good baseline. Again, we're looking for the stretch here. We're looking for that tension. We're saying, hey brain, your goal right now is to feel tight. All right, are we getting to about a baseline?
I think so.
All right, I got a good idea of where you're at there. Tension?
Yep, not as tight as to the left, but yeah, still tension.
Okay, observable tension. All right, so for a sensory aspect, we're gonna use this cushy ball. Grace, I want you to take your arms up.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have you rotate and push on the ball.
Okay.
So your goal is very external, right? You're focusing on giving your brain a goal of meeting the ball, feeling the pressure of your hand touching the ball, right? That sensory, that sensation. This is, we obviously still have the visual system involved here, but we're incorporating more of a sensory aspect. All right, really push that ball. Good. And way back here, push the ball. Nice. We are really challenging him now. We're getting beyond. Maybe one more.
We'll see.
That is challenging. It got to the ball. All right, nice. Did you get further?
Yeah, definitely.
Could you tell?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely gained some degrees of range of motion there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, again, anything to note there, how it felt specifically?
Probably the same amount of tension as I had internal focus versus external focus throughout that, and I'm guessing I gained another decent amount of degrees on that turn. And it was interesting pushing against the ball. There was like a bit of resistance, which to me would feel like it would be more difficult to do. But yet I seemingly rotated further.
Yeah.
So
interesting. Did you have a personal preference on the visual versus the sensory? Which one you liked better?
Visual, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Based on, we're all athletically slightly different. We have different backgrounds, right? We've trained in different ways. You may recognize that your body responds better to the visual targets, or it responds better to more of a sensory target, right? Both aspects are really valuable to train. Sports are going to be a little bit different. You may play a sport that requires more visual targeting or more sensory targeting, but I encourage you to try both. Pay attention to how your body changes and which one has more value for you in the gym. Thanks, G.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're back here with Grayson and working on a second demonstration of internal versus external focus. This is another easy one to do. You can experience this yourself again as well. Grayson, can you take your legs out wide? And it's kind of a typical pancake or straddle stretch. I want you to reach forward with one hand on top of the other and feel the stretch. Okay. Right? We've talked about this before, internal focus. And you can get warmed up a little bit. You're going to move back and forth. And let's find our baseline range of motion. See what the brain is allowing at the moment. And again, internally, this is a common one that I see people practice or I see people assess. And usually it comes with the coaching cue of feel the stretch, right?
Yep.
So what are you feeling with that internal focus?
Behind the knees, behind the thighs, maybe low back a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're definitely feeling the stretch.
Okay. Doing the right thing.
Correct? All right. So now we're going to use a visual target, right? We're going to switch to that external focus. And I'm just going to place a tape on the ground. All right, so I'll put this out in front of you here. And we'll start, let's go right about here. All right, so you have a visual target. I've got one hand on top of the other. And why don't you just start with something real comfortable, like maybe this 8-inch here. So just hovering, trying to reach towards it, and then coming back. And then you could probably go every 2 inches, approximately. Good. Now, Grayson, as you keep going there, I want you to really keep your brain focused externally. All right, really keep your attention on the goal.
On the numbers.
Yep, the task at hand. All right, we're moving. Let's see. You can see he's working towards that 18 now. Looks like he's going to maybe go 20. It's getting more challenging here. So if you want to go inch by inch, whatever feels.
Actually,
like
still feels
the goal you'd like to achieve.
pretty simple.
Good. All right, we're getting up there at 23. There, you hit a 25 from this angle.
That's
Is that about pushing the limit?
I think so. I'll give it one more shot though. Yeah, maybe 27. I don't know.
Yeah, let's say you got well over 26, maybe to 27. So that's fantastic.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, with your internal focus, you were a little more around this range. I'm guessing that you improved a good 5 or 6 inches on that one.
You can feel it too, and it's. I know you're not supposed to be focusing on the internal, but towards the end limits, you do kind of. It's hard to fight against feeling some of those stretches, but the stretches changed. Felt like there were more things stretching.
Cool. I think that's one of the most important things you just said there was the stretching changes. You know, what you feel internally changes with the external focus, right? So you have a very different goal in mind, but you're going to get to a point where there's going to be some internal signals trying to get your attention, right? And that's important to just say out loud that internal focus is important and is valuable. And external focus is also incredibly valuable. What we normally see is external focus gets left out. People don't incorporate it enough. So when we add it back in, it can really be a game changer with improving movement function, right? Good.
Awesome.
All right, now let's move into a sensory aspect. Let's use this dumbbell here. Why don't we revert back? Let's get another baseline of an internal focus.
Okay.
So you got to switch your brain back to feel the stretch, internalize everything just from the start of the movement.
Should I be reaching, the goal is gone.
Correct.
But I should be stretching further now, right?
I love what you're saying there. You may be going further naturally right now because you just practiced a movement externally. And the more you practice a movement, the better you're going to get at it, most likely, right? So your natural internal range of motion baseline might be a little bit further now, right? Just because you've been practicing. What we typically notice if you go through these demos yourself and really allow yourself to experiment and be your own scientist, we generally notice that if you change internally versus externally, that you can reduce your range of motion really quickly, and then you can gain range of motion really quickly. And you can move back and forth, almost like a dimmer switch, on the range of motion spectrum. Right? For myself, I could go back and forth here. I could lose 2 inches and then gain 2 inches and then lose 2 inches and then gain 2 inches. I could go back and forth really quick just based on where I'm focusing my attention.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to use a sensory focus this time. So Grayson, I want you to push that dumbbell, all right, put a little pressure on it like you're leaning forward, and specifically stay externally focused on what your fingers are feeling. Good. Nice. And same thing, like pushing forward. Good. All right, get into that goal every time. Pushing. In a way, we're gamifying movement practice with this. I much prefer this type of training.
Yeah.
Right? You have a different task.
Yeah, it's a goal. You can see yourself improving.
Yes, I love that. Awesome. Now we're getting to that challenge there. We're getting near his end range of motion, really pushing the limits here.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
That might be the end of it.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's super good. I think you're definitely got a little bit further
Okay.
than your internal focus. What are your thoughts?
I think great. I think I still like the visual target more than, just for me anyway, than the sensory. But
Yeah.
I suppose whatever works for individuals
Yeah,
doesn't matter as long as you're focusing externally.
fantastic.
Seems to be working.
Awesome. So I encourage you guys to try this out on your own and really experience this, because it definitely changes the game, gamifies it, changes the goal, and it ties in that athleticism aspect of target training, of external focus, just what we need more of on the court, on the field, on the ice. Thanks, G.
Thank you. It was fun.
Now that you've learned some more information on internal versus external focus, we want to give you a couple ideas to start being creative in the gym setting. We're also going to show you specifically how the Maverick provides that external environment to get you practicing external focus or target training right away really easily. So Grayson, go ahead and pick up that dumbbell. A common exercise we see around the gym is a dumbbell front raise. So Grayson, go ahead and pick that dumbbell up, put it down. This is kind of standard procedure in the gym. All right, and Grayson, if you were doing this in the gym normally, what would you normally focus on?
Probably nothing, just be headphones in and zoning out.
Zoning out.
Yeah.
When would you stop?
Maybe I've got a certain amount of reps that I want to accomplish, and I do that a certain amount of times, or until fatigue, I suppose.
Cool. Until you feel the burn.
Right. Yes.
Really common, right? That is oftentimes, you've got a regimen that you're practicing. Yeah, do a few more there. All right, you got a regimen that you're practicing, or you're going until you feel the burn, until you can't anymore, right? Now, also I'm going to ask you, why are you stopping here?
Just how I've always done it, I guess.
That's just how you've done it. Absolutely. So if you are just in the gym setting, we can encourage a visual change right now, a visual target. All right, as you lift that dumbbell up, Grayson, can you point it right at my hand? Good. Now come back down and touch your thigh with the dumbbell. So you've got a sensory target down there,
Okay.
and you have a visual target up here.
Cool.
Go ahead and complete some reps. Great. Really simple way to incorporate some target training into your standard stuff you're already doing in the gym. All right, sensory aspect, visual aspect. We could change this one to a sensory and touch my hand at the top and touch your thigh at the bottom, right? So depending on which method, visual or sensory, Grayson responds to best, we can switch it to that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Why don't you set that down and grab this med ball. And let's go over a chopper motion. This is a common athletic strength training balance coordination exercise we see people do often. Grayson, just getting into an athletic stance, and I want you to rotate down to the left and up to the, down to the right, up to the left, whichever way. That's awesome. All right, so we're working the core, we're working stabilizers, we're working some power. Now let's pause for just a second. All right, what are some things that you commonly think about when you're doing this one?
Nothing again.
Nothing again.
Just headphones in, jamming out.
Zoning out.
Yeah.
This is really common, right? Just zoning out, getting the work done, and maybe not really necessarily attentively focusing on anything, right? Or not sure. So here's another one where we can incorporate some visual targets or some sensory targets right away with the same motion. We can purposely get your mind a little more engaged, right? So when you rotate down to the left, you're really flexible. I'm gonna have you actually touch the floor down to the left side. And now up here to the right, I want you to reach towards my hand with the ball, but don't touch it. Reach towards it. Good, now touch the floor. And reach towards my hand. All right, that's the motion back and forth. Now we have a sensory target to the left. We have a visual target to the right. Again, we can switch this. You can hit my hand to have two sensory targets now. Good. Nice. If Grayson responds better to just visual targets, he could just pick a visual target to the left, visual target to the right, change those targets as he's going. Go ahead and try a couple of those. Visual target, visual target.
Maybe
Nice.
get up on the ceiling.
Yeah, you can pick a visual target way up on the ceiling. That's fantastic. If you need to place an object, put some tape on the floor for a visual target down low, you can also do that, right? Now, another thing we see athletically is sometimes you want to maintain your eyes on a visual target while you're moving.
Yeah.
So let's try that same exact chopper motion. All right, I'm going to have you go back to the sensory aspect. Touch the floor to the left, touch my hand up here, but I'm going to challenge you with keeping your eyes straight forward on a visual target up there.
Okay.
There's a letter on the wall right in front of us here. He's going to keep his eyes on that target while he moves his body. Let's try it out. Good. He's feeling for the targets, the sensory targets, while maintaining his eyes on the visual target in front. How about one more, G? Good, relax. How's that experience?
It's a lot more fun.
More fun?
Yeah.
Gamified. Does it feel
Definitely.
more athletic right away?
It does, yeah. Like what you said about just keeping focus on a different focal point is just, I mean, it's inherent in sports.
Nice.
You have to do it.
Nice.
So it makes a lot of sense.
Super awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for the workout.
Yeah, man. All right, let's show you these inside the Maverick. I hope you're thinking about different ways that you can apply the target training, whether visual or sensory, into your gym activities already. Now, we've shown you two different exercises. We'd like to blow that up to the next level because the Maverick offers a next level for target training. And we're going to show you a couple different ideas inside the Mav. Sounds good, G?
Sounds great.
Awesome. So Grayson's a climber by nature, so he's already getting busy in here doing all sorts of different activities and having some fun.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely.
All right, so we started off with a dumbbell front raise. And we're going to show you, Grayson's going to start doing a dumbbell front raise. And right away, I'm going to recognize that when he's doing his front raise, whether he's using external focus or internal focus, he's moving the dumbbell in a very linear fashion, moving it out across a very straight line. Now in athletics, how often do we move in very, very straight lines athletically? Not very often.
Not very often.
Correct?
Correct.
So the Maverick offers this environment, this 360-degree dynamic environment filled with target training opportunities, but also promotes nonlinear dynamic type training.
Definitely.
You want to show them an example, G?
Yeah.
All right, can you take that right arm and can you trace a triangle? Just pick one you're comfortable with. Awesome. So Grayson responds best to the visual target approach. So he's using the visual system. He's training and tracing this triangle, being very specific, giving his brain a goal for movement. He's working the shoulder muscles, right? Very much non-linear fashion. He's gonna move around. Grayson, you can move around and try a different triangle out here. Now we have targets all around us. So Grayson, can you get a little bit more crazy? I imagine you're being athletic out on the field or you're climbing and you've got your body in a lunge position, maybe a rotated position, and you need to be strong and in control there, right? Super great. So Grayson's really challenging his nervous system now. He's putting himself in an athletic position. He's lunging. He's rotating. He's got to control his balance. He's got to have coordination. He has to have some flexibility, that strength, all while having a target, right? Utilizing that target. And we're getting the benefits of utilizing the external focus approach with our training. How's that feeling?
It's awesome.
Kind of fun.
Cool. Yeah, get active everywhere.
Yeah,
Feel
you
a lot
engage
of
so many different things.
a lot of different muscles. It's cool.
Very cool. All right, should we grab that med ball? Do a couple things
Yeah.
with the med ball?
Yeah, definitely.
Great. So in the regular gym setting, we were doing a med ball chopper type motion, right? And we incorporated a sensory, had him touch the floor, sensory focus, and then had him rotate and either touch my hand as a sensory target or directing the ball towards a visual target outside of the Maverick and just in the gym space. Now that we're in the Mav, we have all sorts of targets that we can use, right? First one, Grayson, can you imagine this bar right here? It's making a line. Can you rotate and do a chopper motion
Along that line?
Along that line.
Okay.
Great. How's that feel?
Pretty good.
Good. So we have a visual target, a very specific goal in mind. We can change the game here and play with different angles. Can we look at this pole right here? And can you trace that path, that line path? Nice. So we can get a very dynamic, get some different athletic motions going on here really, really quickly. All right. Now, Grayson, can you show them, you responded best to the visual approach, but when we have objects like a med ball, sometimes sensory works pretty well in here.
Yeah, soft. Yeah.
Soft, squishy, yep.
Okay.
So go ahead and show them using a sensory target for moving a little bit.
Okay.
Nice. He's going to get creative here. He's actually tapping the vertices down and right and up and left. Nice. All right, so he's got his visual system involved, but then he's looking for that sensory feedback, specifically looking for the goal, that target, right? He's not thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not thinking too much about internal stuff.
Not at all.
Right?
Just the goal.
Just
Really,
the goal in mind.
The goal. Yeah.
Awesome. How does that feel doing that form of target training?
It's so much more interesting. It's just dynamic and, just like in any sports, rock climbing, holds are all over the place.
Yeah.
And so you really have to be strong in all sorts of positions. So.
Yeah, this is fantastic. This is one of the things that truly inspired us towards developing this product. So I encourage you guys, again, to incorporate target training into your gym activities. And when you're ready for the next step, reach out and we can get you hooked up with your very own Maverick. With target training, it's easy to see what inspired us in the development of the Maverick. The Maverick provides an incredible environment. Once you step inside of it, you can't help but have all these targets available to move your body towards, move away from, keep your eyes focused on, move your eyes around, just like you need on the field or on the court as an athlete. I hope you enjoyed the information on target training. As always, don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions on the Maverick or specifically target training. In addition, I'd love to hear your stories on how you implemented external focus into your gym training and what kind of results you're seeing.